On May 7, 1915, the RMS Lusitania prepared to leave New York Harbor. On the docks, thousands gathered to cheer the departure, waving farewell to the nearly 2,000 passengers and crew boarding the colossal ocean liner. It had been exactly 3 years since the Titanic sank. In that short time, shipbuilders had reinforced hulls and added lifeboats, leading the public to believe modern engineering had finally conquered the dangers of the open ocean. The Lusitania reinforced this confidence. Its sheer scale and powerful steam turbines made it one of the fastest ships ever built. Passengers believed that even if a threat emerged, the liner could simply outrun it. This map shows the risk built directly into the Voyage. The Lusitania was sailing from the United States to Liverpool, a path leading directly into the waters surrounding the British Isles. Those waters were an active battleground. Germany had designated the area a strict exclusion zone, warning that any Allied ship entering it, including civilian vessels, would be treated as a target. Lurking just beneath the surface in that exact zone was a German U-boat, heavily armed and actively hunting along the coastline. The passengers on the Lusitania were trusting their lives to peacetime rules and grand engineering, sailing directly toward a war machine that recognized neither. By May 7th, the ship was approaching the southern coast of Ireland. The green cliffs of the old Head of Kinsale were visible from the deck, a sign that the voyage was nearly over. Without warning or a single distress call, the German submarine spotted the liner through its periscope and fired a torpedo at the Lusitania's starboard side. The munitions struck the lower hull, tearing through the heavy steel and sending a massive shockwave across the water. Moments after the initial torpedo hit, a second, larger explosion detonated from deep within the hull. This cross-section shows the event. First, an exterior torpedo strike. The U-boat fired only once. The fatal secondary blast originated inside the Lusitania. Two theories remain: either secretly carried military munitions ignited, or suspended coal dust caught fire in the depleted bunkers. Whatever fueled that internal eruption, it tore the bottom out of the vessel, shortening the time for rescue and turning the lower decks into an inescapable trap. On deck, the massive structural failure forced the ship to list violently to the right. Passengers scrambled to reach the lifeboats, but the severe angle threw the evacuation into chaos. Because of the tilt, half of the ship's lifeboats hung entirely inward over the deck, while the other half were pinned tightly against the steel gull. The safety systems designed to save them were immobilized. Driven by the momentum of the moving ship, the freezing waters of the Atlantic rushed into the lower ruptures and rapidly swallowed the lower decks. From the second the torpedo made contact to the moment the funnels slipped beneath the surface, exactly 18 minutes had passed. The speed of the sinking removed any chance for a coordinated rescue. The water took the ship before most of the passengers could even reach the rails. When Irish rescue vessels finally arrived on the scene, the ship was gone. All that remained was a field of debris and struggling survivors. The human cost was staggering. Of the nearly 2,000 men, women, and children who boarded in New York, 1,200 drowned. News of the destruction spread instantly. The public had never seen civilian casualties on such a deliberate scale. Early reports struggled to process the reality. Headlines tried to tally the missing, grappling with a death toll that seemed impossible. Among the dead were 128 American citizens. That casualty count sent shockwaves across the ocean, sparking immediate outrage in the previously neutral United States. Allied governments used the destruction of the Lusitania as a recruitment tool, using images of the sinking ship to drive enlistment and condemn Germany. While America didn't declare war immediately, the sinking poisoned relations with Germany. It eroded isolationist sentiment and helped create the public support for the United States to eventually enter the conflict. The Lusitania remains at the bottom of the sea. A luxury liner ended in just 18 minutes by a secondary explosion that scholars still cannot fully explain.